Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today I will be interviewing a screenwriter and director producer. His name is Peter Sullivan. He has written, produced, directed many Hallmark and Lifetime made-for-TV Christmas movies. He's done many other types of movies. But I'm going to be interviewing him about the Christmas movies because it's Christmas time coming up. And he did a couple of my favorites. Eve's Christmas with Elisa Donovan, which I recommend to a lot of you if you haven't seen it. Came out in 2004. It's a beautiful, charming little story, and it's really good. I recommend it. I'm going to be talking to him about that and his beginnings and why the heck he does so many Christmas movies for television and stuff. So, here is my interview with Peter Sullivan. Hi, Peter.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Thank you.
Well, it's such an honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
Yes. So, going back to the beginning, did you fall in love with film early on?
Absolutely. It's sort of a...
Hello? Yeah, that happened yesterday.
Oh.
So you fell in love with film early on.
I did, and as a little kid, I wanted to be a Jedi, and then somebody had to say, well, that's not real. Somebody made that up, and like, wow, one person could do all that. I want to be that guy,
Yeah. I was born a month after Return of the Jedi came out.
You're a little younger than me, but I did get to skip school for the occasion.
Yeah. Well, you also come from that VHS generation like I did.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Do you remember the first movie you ever saw?
I do. It was Song of the South. And I don't remember too much about it, but I remember I grew up in a small town in Massachusetts, and they had one movie theater, and I remember going to see it with my mother and my grandmother, I think. And so it was like the first in a long line of these sort of Disney re-releases before they started putting them on video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first movie I ever saw was the Burt Reynolds movie Cannonball Run. Yeah. What are your favorite movies?
My probably all-time favorite movie is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I think it's just like the perfect kind of, it's definitely a mainstream film, but it's like a textbook example on how to do everything, from the teaser to the romance to the action and character development and stuff like that. It's just, to me, it's a real good study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good movie.
What about you?
My favorite movie of all time is Back to the Future.
Ooh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's got everything a movie lover could want. Every genre, great performances, great setups and situations and payoffs. Nothing's wasted. It's just a perfectly formed mainstream movie.
There's a great book that came out called We Don't Need Roads, and it goes into the background of the whole Back to the Future trilogy, and there's really interesting stuff in there. If you haven't read it and you're a fan of the movie, I suggest checking it out.
It's called We Have No Roads?
We Don't Need Roads.
Oh, We Don't Know Roads.
Of the Back to the Future trilogy. And it goes in depth into the whole Eric Stoltz thing and what happened and how it happened and how much they shot and things about the trilogy that I never knew. There was a terrible stunt accident on the set of the second one. There was all kinds of issues with recasting the role of the dad and how that and it's really interesting. Oh,
I'm gonna check that out. Is it fairly new?
I don't know. 2015 it says. I first listened to it as an audiobook. We do a lot of filming up in Utah, about a 12-hour drive. Mm-hmm. So I'm always looking for something to listen to for 12 hours, and I remember that was one of them. And then there was another book, if you're anyone into Caddyshack. There's a very interesting book about the making of Caddyshack as well, that goes not only into Caddyshack, but the whole National Lampoon thing, which admittedly I didn't know a whole lot about until I listened to that audiobook.
Yeah, I interviewed Cindy Morgan, who played Lacey Underall in Caddyshack, and she gave me a lot of inside scoop on behind the scenes on that movie, including
That's
some.
In the book too. Yeah, wow, what a time she had.
Yeah, including some Me Too stuff that happened to her while filming. Mm-hmm. It was pretty extraordinary. Did you start making Super 8 films when you were a kid?
We did have a Super 8 camera, but I don't think I ever really figured out how to make it work, and if I did, I certainly never got anything developed. I think I just recorded over the same piece of film over and over and over again. But I did convince my parents to get a VHS camcorder, and so I would make little movies with my younger brother, and he would play all the parts. And so, we'd set up the camera, shoot a shot, and then pause the camera, turn it around, hit put on a different costume, and play the other side of the conversation, and ping pong back and forth. We did a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, I asked my parents for a video camera. They got me this. It wasn't a real video camera. It was just like a toy video camera, but it actually recorded. And I remember,
Would that be the Pixel Vision by any chance?
Oh, I can't remember. This was like 1995 or something.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I remember I was doing my own version of a rock video. I was dressed like a rock star, and I had a guitar, and I was just goofing around, and I had my dad film me, and then he realized that the camera wasn't on, and I was like, oh, screw that, I'm not going to do that again.
Funny. Yeah, I think everyone kind of has those experiences, and now, of course, a kid with a camera can go on YouTube and share that stuff with the whole world, where I just had to subject my parents to it.
Yeah. Did you go to film school?
I did. I went to NYU and graduated from to School of the Arts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took a film class when I was 19, and I wanted to be a filmmaker at that time. I still kind of do, and I think I can, with the age of iPhone and what have you. But at that time, I was just like, oh my God, there's so much more to it than I thought it would be. I think I do have a good eye for casting, though.
Mm-hmm. Casting is so important because if you cast a movie correctly. Mm-hmm. As a director, I feel with great casting and great locations, I feel a lot of the pressure is kind of relieved. You can focus on other things because if you cast incorrectly, then you've got problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I really, you want to find actors who really inhabit the role almost effortlessly. Because you just, I'm a very collaborative person. I don't want to micromanage anybody, including the actors. So I don't want to get down to every breath and movement and that kind of thing. I really want someone that's going to come in and feel the role and inhabit the role and bring something to it and really, make it their own, as opposed to someone who's just going to come in and read some lines.
Mm-hmm. So you started making shorts and writing made-for-TV movies. What made you decide that you were going to write all these great Christmas movies for television?
It's funny. I didn't really think about it at the time, but one of my student films that I did actually was a Christmas movie, and I remember it wasn't something that a lot of film students were doing. Christmas movies, So when I did it, I remember my professor kind of made a crack, like, "Oh, you're going to be the Christmas guy," and I was kind of like, "Yeah, very funny." That's exactly what happened. It wasn't anything I ever set out to do. I started, I did short films, and then I got my first film produced, a feature-length film, in 2002, 2003. Which went to what is now the Ion Network, and it was called Cave In with Jimmy Rogers.
Right.
And then I had such a great time working with the production company on that. They brought me back and said, "Look, we want to do a Christmas movie. Would you write it?" And it was a really short period of time. I mean, I think I was having the conversation maybe even in August, and it was for that Christmas, and there hadn't been a script written yet. And so, with very little guidance, I kind of went off and wrote what became Eve's Christmas, and that did well and sort of started a pattern that continues to this day.
Yeah, that's my favorite TV Christmas movie, and I'm not saying that. I really do love it. I was 21 when it first aired, and I loved it so much that when they re-aired it at midnight, I had to tape it. And I just love Elisa's performance in the movie. She's known for playing very obnoxious characters, and Eve starts off as a little obnoxious, but ultimately she becomes charming, like a female Jimmy Stewart in It's a Wonderful Life.
Mm-hmm. And I've been talking about that movie a lot lately because there's things that we did in that movie that I don't think you could ever do today.
Like?
Because the Christmas genre has sort of become, it was a Hallmark Channel and now Lifetime kind of following in their footsteps has sort of become very conservative. And if you remember the opening of Eve's Christmas, she's a busy career woman, of course, and it follows all those archetypes. But then you find out she's having an affair with her boss. And she's angry because her boss has decided to spend Christmas with his family instead of her. And she goes down to the bar and gets snookered because she's so depressed. And I just thought, I couldn't even pitch that today. I can't imagine. Oh, yeah, the main character having an affair with her married boss, and I think I'd probably get the phone hung up on me.
Yeah. Peter Williams is great as Brother James, the guardian angel. He was an interesting choice.
Yeah, Brother James is actually based on a real guy. Back at NYU, there was a man on the street that, always asked for money and stuff when you walk by, and he very much the way that Brother James was written and appeared in the movie, and I even used some of his, some of the dialogue was very much inspired by the real Brother James, and I don't know what ever happened to him. I left the city when I graduated, and I never saw him again. But he was such a presence and an interesting person. I was like, I've got to put this character in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he certainly embodied the character. I've been trying to get an interview with him and Elisa for like a month now for this month, and they haven't answered my tweets.
Okay.
Sebastian Spencer did a great job as the old boyfriend. Cheryl Ladd is the mother. She's always great in everything she does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every year when it's on, I look forward to seeing it. Although, I will be honest, though, I always thought the ending should have been a little bit better.
The ending was a big debate because it's like, what do you do? I mean, if you turn back the clock and have them end up together, in the age that she goes back to, then you've basically erased 10 years off her life.
Yeah.
If you keep them in the present, then there's 10 years that she skipped over. So either way, you're kind of screwed. what do we do? And it went back and forth and went back and forth. And to this day, I'm not sure we got it right. But again, it's like, it's no matter what solution we came up with, there was still going to be, something was going to be missing from her life, because we kind of backed ourselves into a corner with the whole time travel alternate life story.
Yeah, what I thought should have happened was she woke up and she was humbled by the whole experience. And then I thought, maybe her parents would have shown up and, they would have made amends with her. They showed up to tell her that they love her and that everything was, in the past. And then they were like, they would have been like, oh, by the way, we have a surprise for you. And then the old boyfriend shows up because he's divorced now,
Yep, there you go. Okay, fine. Let's go, baby. We gotta do some reshoots. Come on, let's.
Yeah.
It's not too late. Come on.
Yeah, to do a reboot. That's what I thought. That's what I always thought that should have happened. But
that's not bad. That's not bad.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I've been writing scripts since I was like 12.
And what is your preferred genre? What do you write?
I've always written different things, but like lately I've been getting into horror and science fiction. But I can write comedy, drama, or whatever. Pretty much. I'd like to write a Western. I've been trying to get inspiration for that, but Westerns are a lot harder than they look to write, I'll tell you.
They are, and I've worked on quite a few as a producer, and they're hard to produce as well. And there's a lot of variables that go into it, and they're fun. I mean, they're fun to, when they're done and you watch them, but they're hell to make. I mean, it's fun, playing dress up, cowboys, but it's tough, a lot of, horses and safety and actor safety. You're putting the actors on the back of an animal that could just kick them off.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's oftentimes people don't think of when they're watching these movies. It's not easy.
Yeah, and there was a 30-year time in Hollywood in the early years where everybody was making Westerns, both big budget, low budget. I mean, there were so many Westerns cranked out a year that you find them and didn't even know that they existed on the Western Channel. Mm-hmm. It's just incredible about how popular that genre was back in the day.
It's sad. There was one of these Western towns that was standing all these years. It's been used on all kinds of TV shows and movies, and Dr. Medicine Woman shot there, and it was part of Paramount Ranch at one point, and then it became a park not far from like Calabasas, Malibu area. And we've shot there several times, and the recent wildfires just completely destroyed it. And it's a shame, because it not only was a great set, but it was open to the public, so people could go and experience a little bit of that, Western movie magic. And it was most recently actually used for Westworld. So it was still being used at the time that it burned down. But it's a shame, because it was such a part of sort of Western filmmaking history here.
Mm-hmm. And then the next Christmas movie you made was His and Her Christmas. I've never seen this one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They still run it. Actually, I think they ran it. I thought of it a couple weeks ago on the listing, but it was interesting. I wanted to do something different from Eve's Christmas, so it's not magical. But the story is there's two reporters that are writing competing Christmas columns, and one is like a small town paper in Marin County, and the other is like the massive newspaper out of San Francisco. And they're trying to outdo each other, and spoiler alert, they fall in love.
Yeah, you had Dina Meyer from Starship Troopers, isn't it?
Yeah, I've worked with her a couple times now, and that was the first thing that I did with her. But it was again, I was really happy with how it came out. The director Farhad did a great job with it, and I really enjoyed the process of working with him as well. And I just thought that it's just a big little movie,
Mm-hmm. And then you did A Christmas Proposal.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, Christmas Proposal was actually one of the first films that I also worked on as a producer, and that was sort of the beginning of the company that's now called Hybrid, that I now work for, and have been working for ever since. That was sort of a seminal moment, career-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And they still run it on Lifetime, and it still does well. And that we have Tom Arnold is in it, and he sends an employee of his, played by David O'Donnell, who was also in Christmas Under Wraps that I did, Hallmark. And he goes back to the small town to help build a ski lodge for Mr. Arnold, and of course runs afoul of his ex-girlfriend, Nicole Eggert, who's trying to save the town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also see you had the legendary Patty McCormick from The Bad Seed in there.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful, sweet woman. I've been trying to find something to do with her again, because I enjoyed the process. And that one, because I was involved with the producer, was the first film that I was on set every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was great because I got to know the cast really well, and David and I have done several projects since together. So me and Nicole also. So it was a really cool experience.
Yeah, I might interview her soon. We have a mutual friend that's going to hook us up to talk and stuff. That's going to be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that one available?
I believe Lifetime still runs it.
Mm-hmm. So it's a Lifetime one.
I mean, all these movies, especially this time of year, if you look at, if you go on the Lifetime website and look for them,
right,
pop up.
Yeah, I used to watch Lifetime religiously for years before, like after high school and stuff, and before I got really busy and stuff. And guys, I used to tape them all and just watch them religiously.
Sure. And that's the great thing. I mean, a lot of people have seen the movies, and look, I've done all different kinds of genres, including horror and sci-fi, and the Christmas movies are different. They run every year. They'll run on different networks. We'll make a movie for one network, and then 2 or 3 years later, it'll be on another. And like Eve Christmas was originally Lifetime, but then it spent some time over in Hallmark and stuff. So it's like these movies almost take on a life of their own, and people know them and love them. I remember we were scouting for one film. I think it was Christmas Under Wraps. We were looking at this factory that we were thinking about maybe using for Santa's workshop. And the woman that was behind the front desk was, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" I said, "Well, we're interested in doing this Christmas movie." "Oh, I love Christmas movies. What movie have you done?" And I started rattling off the titles, and she knew everyone, every single one of them. And she was a big fan. We just walked in off the street and just like, "Hey, can we shoot here?" But you run into that all the time with these Christmas movies.
Mm-hmm. And then you did a Nanny for Christmas with Dean Cain.
Yeah. Now that was interesting. We shot that at Christmas time. It's one of the rare movies that was actually shot in December. So we were able to use like a real Christmas tree lot and stuff like that. And actually, there's sequences in the movie where they go ice skating in downtown. We shot it in downtown LA, and that was actually very early in the morning on Christmas Eve. That's how close to the wire it didn't air that Christmas, but we were shooting those scenes at 2, 3 in the morning on the 24th.
Mm-hmm. And this one was shot for Starz?
Starz handled distribution. It has aired. It's aired all over the place. Lifetime has had it. It's been all over.
Mm-hmm. And then this one I have seen, and you directed it, 12 Wishes of Christmas.
Yes.
And you got to work with Elisa again, and I was so glad that not only you casted Elisa, but you also all these great legends like Fred Willard and Michael Gross and Mo Gaffney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was never on set with Eve Christmas. I didn't get to go, so I had never met Elisa in person. Mm-hmm. We knew each other, but we'd never met. And we ended up just before that film, we had a franchise of talking dog movies. Mm-hmm. Dogs Save Christmas, Dogs Save Christmas Vacation, etc. And she was the mom in that. So the first time I actually met her was on the set of those films. But there was always something about Eve Christmas that we wanted to kind of recapture.
Yeah.
And which has had that magical element, and so putting her, back in that movie was kind of a no-brainer, and Michael Gross was fantastic. It was a wonderful cast, like you said, and again, David O'Donnell. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you certainly did recapture Eve's Christmas with this movie, I think. She does a great performance like she did in Eve's Christmas. And you got to shoot in L.A. instead of Canada this time.
I have not directed anything in Canada. Some of the productions have gone there, mm-hmm. and some of the scripts have gone there, but personally I've not. It's great to be in LA because, and you mentioned the cast. Oftentimes when you're shooting these movies in Canada, you're restricted because of budget. You can't keep flying, everybody up to Canada and bring them into the country. So you're kind of limited. You might get your lead and maybe one supporting player, but you're not going to get the cast of this movie. Elisa Donovan, Gabrielle Cateris, Fred Willard, David O'Donnell, Sarah Thompson, Michael Gross, Shonda Pierce. She's a wonderful comedian. All the people we got because we were basically shooting in their backyard.
Mm-hmm. When you write these Christmas movies, what do you do to make sure that the story hasn't been done before and you're not repeating yourself?
That's a good question. Because sometimes I think we have. I think with the Family Guy episode, I believe, I could be wrong, but they were trying to come up with stories, and whatever they came up with, it was Simpsons did it, Simpsons did it, Simpsons did it. And because Simpsons have had so many episodes, and sometimes it feels like that, because no matter what you think of, it is, it was South Park. It was a South Park episode. Because there's so many, and it's the same thing here, there's so many Christmas movies, not only ours, but Hallmark's making 30 of these things a year. Over the 3 years, that's 90 films. 90 different stories about Christmas. How are you gonna, you're gonna come up with something that hadn't been done before? So I try to, really start with the characters and not, worry so much about, it's gonna be the magical Christmas tree lot or whatever, and really start with what's the heart and the relationships and that kind of thing, and work that way, and let the story kind of come that way, rather than just starting with, okay, we're going to save a bakery or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And you do draw from your own personal experiences, obviously.
I know. Each Christmas was very kind of, not autobiographical, but because it was written so quickly, a lot of the references in there were things based on my hometown, and I'd also recently gone home for the first time in a long time before I wrote that, and so a lot of the experiences of going home again after being away for so long was it's very personal. I find the more you draw from your own experiences, the more unique it'll be, because there's only one you.
Mm-hmm.
The one area that Hallmark hasn't done is your story.
Yeah. So these new ones that you have out, My Christmas In, this is a reunion of the cast of Sister Sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did two Christmas movies this year for Lifetime, and they're both they both had some really interesting casting. But it was great because I've worked with Jack Kay a number of times, and it's always it's kind of, it's almost become like a yearly thing. It's like, because we've done this, we did it in Broadcast in Christmas, and then we did it in Wrapped Up in Christmas, and then we did it again. It's kind of like, okay, what are we going to do with Jack Kay this year, And I'd never met Tim. I hadn't met Tia, but when we started to develop the project, and Tia came on board, and we had this role. Even though the script didn't have a mom, it was only a dad. And I thought I really want two people on the phone with her and have that banter back and forth. I think it'd be much more interesting to have a mom too.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things that we added to the script, and then we're going to play Tia's mom. Oh, I got an idea, and it kind of developed like that.
Yeah, I just interviewed Tim's old comedy partner, Tom Dreesen, a little while ago. And he was talking about the two of them starting out together, playing in all the mafia-owned clubs and stuff back in the late 60s, early 70s. It was pretty amazing. And, in Jingle Belle, you worked with my good friend Dee Wallace.
Dee, love Dee. Love her. I hadn't worked with her before, and when her name kind of came up for that part, it was so perfect, and she was so good in it. But again, a wonderful cast. I mean, we had not only our lead Tatiana Ali and Cornelia Smith Jr., but we also had Keisha Knight Pulliam and Tempest Bledsoe together again at the Cosby Show. Loretta Devine, Dee Wallace, Valerie Pettiford and Olga Babatunde, who wonderful. And funny thing is, they're all wonderful singers, and yet we didn't really get to take advantage of that in the course of the film. But almost everybody in that film is a great musician.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dee. I've hung out with her at conventions, and I've interviewed her. God, isn't she just the greatest?
Mm-hmm. No, she was love working with her, and definitely hope to be doing that again for sure.
I told her, I said, you have my permission to swear on the podcast, and she was like, "Fuck yeah."
She did not have permission to swear on our Christmas movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you're working with these people, and we're just doing a job, and we're trying to make these movies on a schedule and a budget, and sometimes you just have to stop and look around and say, wow, this is the mom's BT. I mean, it's just because you kind of get wrapped up and you're doing a job, and sometimes you have to stop and say, I'm surrounded by all of these wonderful people. Enjoy it.
Yeah. And I also see you're starting to get racially diverse with these Christmas movies as well, which I think is great.
Yeah, I don't think of films, in terms of ethnicity and that kind of thing. And to me, it's just great performers and great story, and I think that I believe that there is room for everyone, and I think that more and more you're seeing just a broad spectrum on all these movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that continues and continues to grow, and we don't think of things in those terms anymore. It's just like, who's the best person for the part?
Yeah.
Regardless.
Absolutely. Do you so aside from those two new ones, do you have any other projects you'd like to plug?
I have a great thriller I'm working on now, and I have an NDA, so I can't talk about it all that much. But it'll be coming in the spring, and it's the biggest project I've been associated with. I'm really excited by it. We just wrapped a couple weeks ago. It's really been 4 films back to back, and this is a real exciting opportunity to do something very different. So that's something I can talk about probably in a couple months when they start publicizing it.
Yeah, maybe I could have you back on, and we could talk about that.
And also we have I've been doing these sci-fi channel films as well, Kukui and Sandman Crooked Man, those films are also a sort of, another way to do something different.
Mm-hmm. You never aimed high to go for the theatrical films?
No, I would love to. The truth is, this business is so competitive oftentimes.
Oh, yeah.
I have to, you remind yourself that I'm incredibly fortunate to be doing what I'm doing. But it is something that not only I've wanted to do, it's a goal of the company as well. And the thriller that I was just mentioning was something that was sort of always, kind of in the back of our minds over the course of several years. Well, this is something we're going to hold on to and do theatrically, and then, we got a tremendous opportunity, kind of unexpectedly, to do something for a new company we've never done a film for before, and it's not theatrical, but it's certainly part of our growth.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure these movies I haven't seen, they'll be repeated this month on Lifetime, and I'll be sure to check them out, and I'll let you know what I think. I promise I won't.
Absolutely.
I promise I won't rewrite the ending again.
I think the ending to these are actually pretty good. I don't think I've been stumped on an ending quite since Dear Secret Santa. Have you ever seen that one?
Dear Secret Santa?
Dear Secret Santa was a movie, and they run it on Lifetime all the time. It's a movie back in 2013, and it's you talk about trying to come up with something new that hadn't been done before, and I think that film pretty much covers it. Elle magazine actually talked about it when it had first come out, and they had a great quote. They said this movie has something for everyone: romance, Christmas, and interdimensional wormholes. It is a very unique Christmas movie because it really does kind of lean heavily into alternate dimensions and science fiction. Again, something I'm not sure we would do today. But that was actually the first film that I did with Tatiana Ali,
mm-hmm.
and it was a great. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I'll be sure to check that one out too. I got all these Christmas movies I gotta check out now. Peter, I thank you so much. Keep making these awesome holiday movies, and happy holidays to you, and God bless, and I'll talk to you again.
Great, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Peter Sullivan. Ain't he a cool dude? Thank you so much, Peter. I'm glad we got to talk about your process of making these TV Christmas movies and stuff. They're pretty awesome, and and I hope you continue making them and you make that mainstream jump eventually. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes!